Hey guys, my name is Christian Bertulli. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time coming across this channel, welcome to the family. Glad to have you here. Hope you enjoy our content. And if you happen to, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification button to stay alert for each and every time we upload new content. With that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys. So in today's video, we're going to talk about fear number three, which is the fear of identification. Now, I know some people may have a different definition of fear of identification, but for me, I'll break it down to you guys. It's very simple. The fear of identification is the belief that any criticism towards what we create or towards what we identify, towards what we are associated with, is a criticism of the intrinsic self, meaning who we are on the deeper level. I mean, it makes sense. Like as a creative, someone who makes YouTube content, someone who makes music, someone who coaches kids soccer, like basically someone who is an entrepreneur. It makes sense because as a creative, deep down inside, we are sensitive. We are sensitive about our work. We are sensitive about what we create, and we are sensitive about what we put out to the world. Because every time you put out something out there to the world as a creative, you're giving them pretty much the platform to criticize your work. And are you really ready to accept those criticism? So sometimes it can be hard, and I really like that definition because it makes sense. It makes sense to me, and I think if you're creative, at some point you've probably have experienced the fear of identifications. To give you guys an example and share my own personal experience with this fear, the fear of identification, is that when I first decided to start making YouTube content about videos like this, inspiring other people, I was afraid to put out my work. I was afraid to put out my video. And as you can tell, I am still pretty much on the early stage of my YouTube career. So there's a lot of things that I'm still learning. There's a lot of things that I'm still working on. I'm slowly getting better on different things. But when I first started, it was very scary for me to identify with my work. It was so scary to the point where, like, I had my YouTube account for at least 6 months before I ended up posting my first video. 6 months, because every time I was ready to make a video or got done making a video, I was literally coming up with all the excuses in the world to not post it because I had this fear of identifications. I was finding every reasons in the world to not post it. I was like, what if my editing is not good enough? What if my voicing, the pace of my voice is not good enough? What if I'm not setting up the camera's angles right or the lighting? I was coming up with so many excuses not to post the first video of my YouTube career because deep down inside, I had that fear. I was afraid people were going to judge me. I was afraid people were going to laugh at me. I was afraid people were going to associate my YouTube video with failure, if it makes sense. And that's why it's so important to always trying to find a way to learn something new. Because for me, reading books and talking to interesting people have pretty much helped my perspective on how I view things. And it was important for me to know that when you start something, it takes time. When I started to figure out that, hey, your first YouTube video does not have to be perfect. Your first YouTube video does not have to wow the world. You just have to get started. Maturation takes time. Skills takes time. And for me, once I was able to get that through my head, I was able to finally get over the hump and post my first YouTube video. I was nervous, and as you can see, I'm clearly still in the infantile stage of my YouTube career. But I'll tell you one thing though, every time I'm making a video, every time I'm posting something, like I am getting better. I'm getting better on the little things, and I'm starting to notice a difference. So there's no need for you to have the fear of identifications because you're not identifying with your work, your talent, who you represent, who you are. It's basically hiding yourself from who you are, and you can't hide from who you are. Imagine if the celebrities that we looked up to had the fear of identifications. Imagine if Fali Pupa, imagine if Mary J. Blige, imagine if Ace Hood, imagine if Studio Bros, imagine if Muhammad Ali. All those people had the fear of identifying with their talent. We would have missed out big time. And we're very lucky we get to enjoy and experience their talents while they were here, and for some that are still here. And the crazy thing about like you putting out content and getting your reps in, you are getting better in the process. You just have to stay dedicated. I try not to stress about the things that I have in my life, the things that I'm passionate about. I just try to make a schedule for it. Even if I can, you know, get things done for 1 hour on each things that I need to work on, that will go a long way than go hard one day and neglect what you got to do the next day. So it's important for me to just plan my days, plan my time, plan where I need to be because it helps me stay organized in the long term. And going back to what I was saying about our favorite celebrities, people that we looked up to, or people that we have enjoyed their music perhaps or their acting. Now, let's just use this as an example. Think about your favorite singer. I guarantee you, if you go back to their first song, the first song they ever wrote, or the first song they ever recorded, I guarantee you it probably was not as good as it is now. Maybe they didn't know how to record right or construct a song nicely or professionally, but they stay with it. And that's the most important thing. You have to stay with it. It doesn't matter. And in the process of you putting your work out there, it doesn't matter what field you're in, whether you're a DJ, a painter, a videographer, whatever that you do. Basically, if you are in the creative field. And the one thing you also need to keep in mind is that in the process of you putting your work out there, every single time getting your reps in, you are building a fan base. You are building a good following because there are fans out here like me. I like to see an artist rise from the bottom all the way to the top. Like I want to be able to hear their first songs when I'm like, man, this guy's not that good. But if I like their vibe, I like their lyrics, I like their hustle, I like their mentality, their grind, I will support. And let's just say this artist spent 10 years in the game and he's finally starting to get a little bit of buzz and recognition. Like for me, I would love to see that. You see that growth. So it's important to put your work out there. It's important to be who you are. It's important to identify with your talent. Because if you don't, you're hiding yourself from who you are. And fear of identification does not only affect creatives. Fear of identification can affect everybody. Like some people are afraid to identify who they are sexually. Some people are afraid to identify what they do for work. Like some people are afraid to identify with their partner. Like they don't want to be seen in public with their partner. Like why? It makes no sense. I don't care if your boyfriend or your lady is not the best looking, but if you're with them, you need to be proud to be with them in public, to do regular couple stuff. Because at the end of the day, there's something about them that you like. But if you're afraid to identify that you are with them, or you are in a relationship with them, or perhaps you are in love with them, then you are hiding who you are from yourself, because there's something that you like about that person and there's a reason why you are with them. So why hide it? I have a homie that was afraid to identify with his work, and this was a long time ago. Like every time we came around people or people that he was trying to impress, usually the opposite sex, like he used to lie about his work. And at the time, he was working at a gas station, which is not bad. Like it's a job, it's a normal job, but he was afraid to tell the opposite sex or the girls that he was feeling that he was working at a gas station. And I just didn't get that. I'm like, bro, like, you're not out here doing something dumb. You're not out here getting in trouble. You're not out here breaking the law. You are working and you're earning your money legally. Obviously, I don't support working for other people. I feel like you should always be an entrepreneur because it's harder. It's a very long road, but if you achieve success, then it's worthwhile. But anyway, going back to my point, like if you're making your money legally and you're working hard for your family or you're working hard to support yourself, then you should not be afraid to identify with your work. Even if you're a janitor, even if you're a stripper, like I don't care. Now, I'm not recommending people to go into stripping, but I'm also not judging people that does it. You know what I mean? So to be upfront with it, the point that I'm trying to make is be who you are. Identify with your talent. Identify with what makes you happy. Because there are a lot of fake people out here, and we need people that are authentic. To give you guys another way the fear of identification affected me is that for me, when I started creating content, like I'll create a video, if I feel like this video is not going to turn out to my standard, to what I think is acceptable, I wouldn't even post it. I wouldn't do it. And in a way, that kind of like created this bad habit of not finishing work. A lot of people out there are not finishing their work, are not finishing their project because of this fear of identification. Oh, no, it does not matter. As long as you do your best, put it out there. Be proud to put your name, your stamp, your logo on what you created. Because if you don't, what you easily created can easily be forgotten. And it's funny because I don't know how many of you know who Leonardo da Vinci is. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know who he is, a famous painter, back in the day. But basically, he used to have this bad habit of not finishing his work because if he didn't think his painting was going to come out to look good, then he wouldn't even finish painting. So he was known for that. And he's also known as like the godfather or the person who came up or created this the technique the technique of softening colors in painting. I think it's called fumato, SFUMATO, all because he had the fear of identification. But just remember, by you not identifying with who you are, then you are being fake. If you're not identifying with who you are, then you are identifying with the fake version of yourself. Keep that in mind. Be authentic and always be proud to stand behind your work. Don't be afraid to identify with your work, your project. Go out there and give that presentation. If they like it, great. If they don't, then it's okay. You took a chance. You have nothing to lose because by you identifying with your talent, who you are on the inside, it makes the world a better place. You are being authentic. Like I can't even tell you how many people are just out here living life fake. Like I can't stand that. For me, if you fake, I just can't deal with it, man. Like I'll keep you from a distance because I know who you are. It's not always about the money. It's not about you trying to impress me. You have to be real. And fear of identification makes you hide from who you are. Plus, it limits us from reaching our fullest potential. A lot of people like to think of what if this does not work out? They want to think about the downside. the negative side. For me, I've always remained optimistic. I'm always remaining open about the possibility of things working out. So I'm always thinking about of what it could be. So I don't hide from my talent anymore. I don't hide from things that makes me happy. I don't hide from the things that I choose. I'm low key about stuff because I feel like not a lot of people should know my business. But that's about it. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching part three. I'll see you on video number 4. Thank you. Bye.